All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the most powerful tools of influence out there, the scarcity principle. And we're not just going to look at the theory, okay? We're breaking this down like a top-tier consultant would. This is the actual playbook. So, where does this all come from? Well, we've got to give credit to the legendary social psychologist Robert Cialdini. He's the one who really popularized this. And the idea itself, it's beautifully simple. Our brains are basically hardwired to think that if something is rare or hard to get, it must be more valuable. The less there is of something, whether it's real or just perceived, the more we want it. It's that simple.
So, here's the game plan. First, we'll hit the core principle. Then, the 3 big scarcity levers. After that, the implementation matrix. That's the playbook. We'll cover the rules you gotta follow and wrap it up with a real masterclass in action.
Okay, section 1, scarcity, the core principle. Let's unpack the why behind it all. Because look, before you can even think about using the tactics, you absolutely have to get what's going on in our heads that makes this stuff work so well.
So what's the engine driving all of this? It boils down to one powerful, fundamental human bias: loss aversion. Think about it. This isn't really about how good it feels to get something. No, it's all about the intense, gut-level fear of losing something. It's the literal definition of FOMO, right? That nagging anxiety that if you don't jump on this right now, the chance will vanish forever.
And what's really wild is just how powerful this feeling is. I mean, research has actually put a number on it. Get this. The pain you feel from a loss is about 2.5 times stronger than the joy you feel from an equivalent gain. Let that sink in. That's a huge imbalance. And it's not just some weird psychological quirk. Oh no. It is the strategic leverage point for everything we're about to talk about.
So, that intense fear of missing out, it creates what some strategists call a momentary storm inside our heads. It's like a shortcut that completely bypasses our normal, rational thinking. It just shoves us right over that line from thinking about it to doing it. It forces us to make a decision now, all because we're so desperate to avoid that feeling of regret later on.
Okay, so we've got the why down. Now let's get into the tactical what. How do you actually create and use this psychological tension? Well, it comes down to 3 main levers. Yep, these are the 3 big ways to weaponize scarcity. You can put a cap on the quantity, you can limit the time, or you can restrict the access. Each one plays on that fear of loss we just talked about, but in a slightly different way. Let's break them down. First up, we've got quantity. This is probably the most classic one you'll see. It's all about limiting the supply. When you see that only 5 left in stock message, it hits you with a 1-2 punch. First, it's social proof, right? Your brain goes, whoa, other people want this, it must be good. And second, bam, there's that loss aversion kicking in. That chance to get it is about to disappear.
Next up, lever 2, temporal or time. The pressure here isn't about how many are left, it's about how much time you have left. Think about Black Friday sales or any flash sale with a big countdown timer ticking away. It just shrinks the window you have to think. It forces your brain to switch from should I to I have to decide now. It basically manufactures urgency out of thin air.
And then there's the third lever, and this one is the most sophisticated of the bunch: exclusivity. I love this one. It's the velvet rope effect. It's not about being able to afford something, it's about being allowed to buy it. When you gate access, with memberships, special applications, invite-only lists, you transform a simple purchase into a status symbol. Suddenly, it's not just a product anymore. It's your ticket into an exclusive club.
All right, so we've covered the what. Now we're moving to the how. This is the implementation matrix. Think of this as the consultant's playbook for putting these levers to work with, surgical precision. This matrix is gold. It's where the strategy hits the road. You can see it maps each scarcity type, like quantity or time, to a specific tactic, the cognitive trigger it pulls, and the outcome you're aiming for. So let's take access, for example. The tactic is an invite-only beta. What does that trigger in our brains? That deep-seated need for status and belonging. And the result? People see the product as premium, as exclusive, before it's even really out there.
But here's a word of warning. Using scarcity is kind of like handling a live wire. You've got to be disciplined. If you get it wrong, it can seriously backfire and just destroy any trust you've built. So let's go over the do's and don'ts, the absolute ground rules for doing this right.
Okay, these are the guardrails. On the do side, these are non-negotiables. You have to build up the value before you slap on the urgency. Scarcity just amplifies a good offer. It can't save a bad one. And it's got to be believable, right? A small batch product makes sense. A limited edition that never runs out? Not so much. Now the don'ts, these will kill your brand. The absolute number one sin is false scarcity. You know, that sale timer that just magically resets every time you visit the page? That's a lie. And people aren't stupid, they'll see right through it. And once that trust is gone, good luck ever getting it back.
All right, to wrap this up, let's look at a true masterclass in action. We're going to talk about how one of the most elite brands in the world, Hermes, took scarcity and turned it from just another tactic into the very core of their entire global strategy.
What Hermes does is just brilliant. Some people call it an arrogant strategy. They don't just limit the supply of their bags, they build a fortress around them. You can't just walk in and buy one. No. You have to build up a purchase history, get to know a sales associate, you have to earn the right to spend your money. And the absolute genius is this: the struggle to get the bag is what makes it so valuable. The difficulty itself becomes the main feature. The obstacle is the entire point.
You know, this whole playbook really boils down to one simple, powerful idea from the marketing legend Seth Godin. He said, "Scarcity creates value." And it's so true. It's not just that scarcity signals that something is valuable. Scarcity is a form of value in itself. The rarity is an ingredient, just as real as the materials used to make the product.
And I want to leave you with this last thought from the advertising genius Rory Sutherland. Value can be created in the mind every bit as much as it can be created in the factory. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Value isn't some fixed objective thing. It's all about perception, psychology, and context. And scarcity? Well, scarcity is the art of mastering that context. It's psychological alchemy. It's about shaping how people see things to create incredible value, sometimes out of thin air.